is the Tarpon Lodge. Yeah, yep, see the marina? That's where the water taxi goes out to a lot of the barrier islands. And right there next to it is the Tarpon Lodge. Iconic kind of... Yeah, it looks like we're looking right at the Tarpon Lodge. It's been owned by the Wells family for decades. I spoke with a member of the family, and they're out here and they're rebuilding and they're working on it. And, you know, there's some damage, but not a lot. If you head a little bit farther to the south, yeah, right there. That's the Tarpon Lodge with the pool. You can see it. Yep, that's it. So the Tarpon Lodge survived the hurricane. Man, looks like they have their beach chairs, pool chairs back in place. And they're already here. They already have staff working. You see a truck, and I mean, Pine Island, the people out here are resilient. They want to get back to work. They want to get back to rebuilding. And I have no doubt they're going to do it. They are going to do it fast. All right, let's head up to on the left. Yep, that's USEPA. Yeah, that'd be great. Yep, USEPA Island. The Collier Inn is there. Yeah. Yeah, those are the fish houses, the old fish houses. Have they see if the fish houses survived? The kind of iconic. If you boat at all, these fish houses were set up so that when the fishermen would go out, they could catch their fish and bring them back to the ice. These houses were ice houses. They were stacked with ice. Yeah, on the stilts. Yep. And so they've been there for decades. Remember the history of Pine Island. It's a fishing village, and so that the fishermen wouldn't have to come all the way back in, they could dump their catch in these ice houses and then go back out. Yep, those are the fish houses. Oh, yep. So they're privately owned now, I believe, but they used to be for the fishermen to bring, so they wouldn't have to come all the way back in to the dock. They could dump their catch there. There was ice, and then another boat would come out and get it and bring it in for sale. So, man, those structures have been here a long time, built right out on the water. You can only imagine what they've, the waves and the wind, but they're still there. So let's head to, you can see we're coming up on USEPA Island and the Collier Inn. Over to our right. Hard right. Yep, there. That's your view of USEPA Island. People live here year-round. Several hundred people live on USEPA year-round. Let's hope that they all evacuated. The Collier Inn is here, where you can go and spend the night. It's a lodge, and take a water taxi out from Pineland Marina and spend a night or two out at the Collier Inn. A number of families call USEPA home, and there's the USEPA Island Club. And it has a marina there. You can see how the marina fared, but for the most part, a lot of these homes are newer, and they're up on stilts. So they look like they're in pretty good shape. The docks survived too. These are all new docks on the southern part of the island. Most of them are still there. Incredible. There's a fire department on USEPA. There's actually a helicopter landing area. You see the square marked out right there. Golf carts are moving around, so there are people back on USEPA Island. Yeah, there's a helicopter on the ground. You see the Collier Inn, the tennis courts, and, well, the helicopter has landed on the croquet field. That's where they play whites only. You have to be wearing white clothing, all white from head to toe, to play croquet on the field there, and the tennis courts and the Collier Inn. For the most part, it looked like the Collier Inn survived. USEPA, known for its beautiful lush landscaping, its banyan trees. The marina restaurant looks like it's got a lot of damage, and the dock is gone. USEPA Island Marina dock has been destroyed, basically. Behind us on the other side of USEPA Island is what's known as Cabbage Key. And there's a little resort on it. The water tower is still there. That's Cabbage Key. That is also owned by the same family that owns the Tarpon Lodge. That little restaurant there. It's covered in dollar bills. It's kind of a tradition when you go out and get a cheeseburger there or a sandwich, you put a dollar bill on the wall with your name to say that you've been there. There are, or there were, several cottages for rent. It's a little rental place on the island. And again, it's just hard to recognize because the trees and the leaves and the mangroves have been just stripped of any color whatsoever. It's just all either down or brown. All right, let's check out Boca Grande. It's straight ahead. Yep. Cayo Costa's on your left. That's a big state park, and there's a couple of homes on it, but it's mostly just a state park. And ahead, straight ahead, it's Boca Grande. You can see it coming into you. Yep, right there. Zoom in. The Gasparilla Inn. Yep. That's Boca Grande ahead of us. You can see it in the distance. Gasparilla Island and on Boca Grande. This is all part of Lee County still. You're looking at Boca Bay. It looks like Boca Grande, at least the southern tip of it in Boca Bay, is intact. Wouldn't you say, Sebastian? No? I think it made it, or go a little bit farther to the north and find the Gasparilla Inn. Famous for a lot of the famous people who like to vacation there, including George Bush and his family. The Bush families usually spend some time around Christmas at the Gasparilla Inn. So power trucks are already on Boca Grande. He's looking for the power trucks. Straight up. Right there. Yep, right over there. Oh. So the power trucks are already out on Boca Grande trying to get power to Boca, to this island. So that's a good sign. Gasparilla Road is covered right now with power trucks. We left Pagefield a short time ago and we saw a bunch of officials from FPL had flown in. I asked them if they were going to get power back on to everybody, and they said they were 95% of our community would have power soon. So those are the power trucks. The problem here is all the vegetation that fell on power lines and transformers, and again, some of what's happening here is a rebuild, not just a restore. And it's going to be, the poles are down, they have to be rebuilt, the whole power infrastructure has to be rebuilt out on Boca Grande, but they're not wasting any time. Getting power back and water out here is going to be the key. Yeah. Okay, let's head north on Gasparilla Road and we'll look for the Gasparilla Inn, which is going to be on our right-hand side. The main thing that I'm seeing on Gasparilla is there were a lot of boats on docks, and they of course are washed away or they've sunk. Some pool cages are off, but every other block has a power truck here rebuilding and restoring power to the island. So we are driving, there's the lighthouse right here. Yeah. There's the lighthouse on Boca Grande, and we are flying above Gulf Boulevard on Boca Grande, and we're heading towards the golf course and the Gasparilla Inn and Club, which is over to our right. It's a great shot of it here. Took a couple circles around it. They've already got blue tarps on the Gasparilla in the roof. So there are crews out here. There are signs of life. There are people already. It looks like they've cleared away some of the vegetation. They have tarps on the roof. The whole property has tarps. There's golf carts. There's workers out here. There's bulldozers. Those are the cottages that you can rent, and that's the inn itself, the iconic inn. Again, the Bush family vacations here every year around Christmas time. George Bush Sr., it was a favorite of his. Jeb. And George, the former president. Their whole families would come here. The marina is intact. It looks like a lot of the boats are still in place. some roofs ripped off, and the Pink Elephant restaurant looks like it survived as well. That's the Pink Elephant restaurant right there, Sebastian. Right there. You see? Yeah. One of the best in Lee County. The golf course is still green, which is more we can say for the golf course on Sanibel, the Sanibel Island golf course. So this again, a look at Gasparilla Island in Boca Grande. Yeah, that's part of the resort. Yep, part of the resort. If you pan down a little bit, you can see more of it. Yep, right there at the bottom of your screen. Such a beautiful place. They've already got tarps on the roofs to protect anything else, and as soon as they get power back, all right, let's head back down maybe the coastline. Yeah, anything else you say that we can get circle by a second picture of at the time? We'll head down the coast. The what did? Oh. Oh, the antenna. Yeah, it's probably a cell tower or some kind of tower fell down on top of the building. That's the, right here. Yeah, it kind of blends in with the building. Go to the right. Yep, right there. You can see a tower fell down on top of the building. These are where the little downtown area and some of the shops and restaurants are in Boca Grande. A lot of blue tarps already on the roofs. Different than you've seen on Sanibel or Captiva because they're cut off. There is access to Boca Grande right now, so people are getting out here, you know, post-hurricane, 5 days and already starting. Yes. So they were on the clean side of the storm and didn't get, you can tell the difference. They did not get the force of the winds. Although we did record Captiva with 148 mile per hour wind gust at one point. That's where they were, but Boca Grande definitely looks a lot different than Fort Myers Beach. And we're going to head south down Boca Grande, and we'll just hit the barrier islands one more time before we cut over to Immokalee. Does that sound like a plan? Okay. How much time do we have recording left? You can see where the winds were the worst and where the dirty side of in the onshore winds hit and what communities that was. You can see Fort Myers Beach, the difference between Fort Myers Beach and Boca Grande, and they were on it's obvious they were on two sides of the storm. And even though the eye, I should say, of the storm wasn't far from where we are right now in Boca Grande, it just shows so much the difference in the two sides of the storm. The water even looks a little clearer here, though it is so sad to see the amount of pollution in the water everywhere along our coastline. Streams of pollution just flowing out. You can imagine, you know, the waste and the pollution in the water. It's such a shame. And if you look just offshore a few miles, you can see how the color of the Gulf changes. And it's the color that we know and love, the blues and the greens. And it's out there, but you can see this line of pollution just flowing out to it. Right here. So look at, you can see this is the Gasparilla Pass, and you can see the line of pollution just flowing from the back bay out into the Gulf of Mexico. It's so clear to see where this water's rushing out from Pine Island Sound into the Gulf, the beautiful blue water of the Gulf, and you just have to think, how long is it going to be before the Gulf returns to the color that we just know and love? It's sad. It's going to be felt for years to come. Flying over Cayo Costa right now, Cayo Costa State Park. There are some homes here, most of them on stilts though, and yep, you can just, you can see where things were washed out. And just look over to the right here. I mean, this is where Redfish Pass opens up into the Gulf. Right now we're headed over Cayo Costa. We just passed Gasparilla Sound. That's where the pollution was flowing out from. Yes. Now we're headed back towards North Captiva and Captiva, Pine Island Sound. Oh my gosh, look at this line of pollution. Can we make one more circle around that? This is just, it's heartbreaking. Right off the coast of North Captiva. Captiva Pass opens up into the Gulf of Mexico, and you can just see the line of dirty water darkening the beautiful Gulf waters. Right now is what you're looking at. The land there is Cayo Costa, Captiva Pass from Pine Island Sound, and all of that sludge and toxic pollution in the line is just so clear. Yeah. Thanks for the reminder. It's going to be a long time before anybody's going to want to get in the water here. When you think of how much waste, how many sewers, how much the water pumps that failed, the water systems, the sewage systems that all dumped into Pine Island Sound, and then wherever there's a pass, and it just, yeah, where the island picks up, where there's a pass, and then the toxic water just starts to spread out. This This is North Captiva now. This is right off the coast of North Captiva. And that's all the pollution offshore, mixed in with the beautiful blue waters. We've been so fortunate the last couple of years to have gorgeous waters not filled with algae and fertilizer, and I think that's going to change in the months to come. There's North Captiva. The only way to get onto North Captiva, there's an airstrip right there that you see, and if you have your own boat, or there's also a ferry. It's hard to tell because I know most people haven't been out here, but a lot of the roofs are still standing. Most homes on North Captiva are up on stilts, so they were able to withstand a lot of the storm surge. They're the metal roofs that, you know, are hardy, and for the most part, you can tell that North Captiva was on the clean side of the storm. Look at this. Yep. So we're headed towards Captiva, and then Pine Island Sound is on the other side. So that is the pass there in between Captiva and North Captiva. Another outlet for all of the pollution that was dumped into Pine Island Sound, just to flow out. And this is part of Captiva. North Captiva was cut off from the rest of North Captiva during Hurricane Charlie. It eventually closed up the pass that was created, but and it didn't open up again, so that's a good sign. The eye of Charlie went right over this area right here. Let's go down the bay side. We went down the beach side before. Let's go down the bay side. So now we're approaching Captiva Island, and Redfish Pass, South Seas Plantation right there. I mean, South Seas Resort is in the distance. Now we're approaching Captiva. That's still part of North Captiva, the part that was cut off. And this, what you're seeing right here, is Redfish Pass. You can see the pollution just flowing out. This is South Seas Resort, recently purchased by a new group of owners, and they were promised to build it back again. South Seas was decimated during Hurricane Charlie. It looks like a lot better now. Most of the roofs are still on. The structures remain. If you can look past the beach and you can just see the pollution, it turns your stomach to see what's going to happen to our waters. All right, so we're heading down through South Seas Resort. This is still South Seas, where some of the homes are. South Seas is the entire northern tip of Captiva Island, the resort encompasses. This is where Doc Ford's. Oh yeah. Okay. This is where they've been evacuating people from Captiva. They're coming to this area and they've been taking people off the island. So maybe we can make a circle around that. Oh, is it? So the FPL. It appears that the FPL crew we saw at Page Field has landed on Captiva Island. So hopefully that's a good sign. That somehow they're going to figure a way to get power back out to the island so that some of these that's the post office and a bank on Captiva, and right next to where that helicopter is used to be the employee housing for South Seas Resort, and they're in the process of tearing that down. And at the end of the beach is beach parking, where you can actually go out to Captiva and park your car and go to the beach before you get to South Seas. So you can see the bank on Captiva, and to your right with the brown roof. Then you see the plaza right there that has the South Seas store and H2O and some of the beach stores and a little Starbucks. And then when you go around the curve here, you can see on your right with that weird shaped roof, that's under construction. It's a new artists enclave. Robert Rauschenberg was a homeowner on the island, and his estate is building a place for artists to come and do their work. You see some of the condo buildings here. The McCarthy's Marina. And can we make one more pass down Andy Rossi Lane? So if you go out to the Gulf, and let's take a look at the water. Look how beautiful the water is off the coast of Captiva. So different, the water between the Gulf side and the Bay side. And we're going to give you one more. A lot of people drive out to South Seas and head to Andy Rossi Lane. You can see it there with all the orange roof buildings, and at the very end of the road again is the Mucky Dock. So we'll try to get a view of the Mucky Dock and see if it's still standing. You can head a little bit north. Going where that whole cluster of buildings, street at the very, all those. I think that's a house right next. That's the house right next to the Mucky Dock. So if you go a little south of there, that yellow house, that's the Mucky Dock right there. It's a place that it's wonderful to drive out to on a Saturday or Sunday and sit out on the beach, watch the sunset, have something to eat. It's known for its outdoor eating. It's been around for a long, long time. So if we could just kind of fly down that road, that's Andy Rossi Lane, the road that it's on. Yes, go straight down there. And we'll pass over the Bubble Room is straight ahead, the Island Store, YOLO, the Island Inn, Key Lime Bistro, RC Otters. All right there in the view. That four-way stop between Captiva Road and Andy Rossi Lane draws millions of tourists a year. It looks like they've already got some crews on the island bringing in supplies. I'm sure there's some people who are already back out here ready to get to work. You see the sign down Captiva Drive, Andy Rossi Lane. All right. We can head a little bit farther down south, the blue roof, towards the blue roof buildings, and we'll head down the coast and look at the docks. A lot of docks ruined. I believe this is McCarthy's Marina on Andy Rossi Lane, and yeah, they're bringing in supplies to people on the island. I know a number of people have already been out here to check on their properties and their businesses. This tiny little strip of island pumps a lot of money into the Lee County economy. There's Tween Waters Inn and Resort. They're building a whole new restaurant on there. I know that Tony Lappy, Bad Cop, actually rode out the storm out here, and they got off the island. They were evacuated by helicopter in the last couple of days. The water off Captiva is still beautiful. I just wonder how long it's going to stay that way.